How's everybody doing? Hopefully, things in your life are going well for you. I want to thank all of you for tuning in, and a special thanks for those of you who've donated to this channel. May your generosity be repaid tenfold. The donations is really what keeps me doing what I do, so I thank all of you. I want to quickly share something, specifically an incident that took place early yesterday morning involving a young woman and a person that looked like an illegal immigrant of Latin descent. I'm not going to get into what I did, or rather prevented. I'm not looking for accolades or a pat on the back. But this is for any of you viewers who have wives, girlfriends, daughters, sisters, etc. You need to explain to them that walking around with headphones or earbuds is not a very wise choice. The streets is not your house or the gym. And when wearing them, anyone with ill intention can creep up behind you. This young woman in particular had no clue she was being stalked and about to become a victim. If any of the viewers are women, keep those headphones off when you're out in public. One of the things I find most interesting is how viewers react via their comments following a video. And in the case of my last video regarding Stevie Crea, most viewers totally get it. If we grabbed 10 people off the street and took a poll, how many of them would say they like their boss? It's more than likely the majority would say no. Nobody wants a boss. And that's what you really get when you become a member of the mob. And it's not just one boss, but several. And yes, I'm saying this now after the fact, but wish I thought of it back then in 2013, at which time I would have respectfully declined being proposed. Think about this. After the Lucchese family falsely labeled me and sent guys to lay on me at my house, I was completely disgusted and totally done with them. But now I want you to listen to what Gambino member Ernie Grillo said to me when he tried tricking me into attending a meeting with Lucchese members. He had called me, and let me just say, as smart as he is as foolish as he was, because he got caught trying to trick me. At which point I told him, Ernie, I'm divorced. As mentioned, we were on the phone, so I was trying to speak in code, not the most cryptic, but basically I'm telling him I'm walking away from the Lucchese's. Listen to what his response was. Well, that's the reason for the meeting, to see if you could get the divorce. Maybe you'll be divorced. Here's a grown man telling another grown man that I need permission to walk away from people who completely betrayed me, labeled me, disrespected me at my house, and shown me zero loyalty. I remember thinking, are you people out of your fucking minds? What he said to me only added insult to injury. Imagine that you're friends with somebody, a very close friend, and that person totally disrespects you to the point of showing you that you mean nothing to him or her. And you make the hard decision to break ties with this person. And then somebody else comes along and tells you that other people will be making that decision for you as to whether or not you can break ties with this person. That, my friends, defines the mob. It's not only that you could be ordered to do something you disagree with, but your decisions are not your own. I hope that sinks into people. All right, I'm going to switch gears for a moment. I heard something that I knew was inevitable. In a recent conversation, I was told something, and the person said they didn't mind if I mentioned it regarding Florida, a state that he called the new My Blue Heaven, in reference to the movie about ex-mobsters in the Witness Protection Program. Anyway, currently, there are a lot of former members and associates living in the state of Florida. Apparently, this fact has become the topic of discussion on the street among several families. Wise guys vacation a lot in Florida. Some even own homes or condos. In one part of Florida, a bunch of guys, former members and associates, all live in close proximity to one another. And this too is known by guys on the street. And from what I'm told, this is a conversation that is moving between families. One specific family is completely laser focused on a certain person living in the Sunshine State who they feel is talking out of school and completely lying. And as the story goes, this person bragged to some people, making himself out to be more important than he was. In doing so, one person in the group had a cousin who knows a wise guy. And now everyone knows exactly where this guy is living. Here's the problem. I think a lot of guys feel they're safe, and I get it. It's 2026. The mob absolutely knows what a murder would cause in present day. However, this doesn't mean that a vicious beating cannot be carried out. Like I said, I wasn't surprised to hear about it or the name of the person who's on the minds and tongues of wise guys. In my opinion, I think some of the Floridians out there need to watch themselves because you never know. Just when you least expect it, someone will pop up and surprise you, to say the least. The one thing I pride myself on is I never lower myself or my standards and entertain those beneath me. And I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. Nonetheless, anyone who comes on here, YouTube, or social media to bash people, other content creators, for the sake of views or because they want to be relevant are absolutely beneath me. I would have never said a word to them in the street, so why engage them now? And what I mean by that, not saying a word to them in the street, is they couldn't have a conversation with me. And take this to the bank. If they spoke any of that shit in the street, they would be fully engaged. Every so often, I hear about some of the YouTube drama that goes on. It's unfortunate that people not only show their IQs, but the level of immaturity they've reached. Me personally, I don't get involved in drama. I see these people for what they are, attention seekers, yearning for attention like children. And if they can't receive any, then they'll resort to trying to get negative attention. I refuse to give them any sort of attention whatsoever. So I remain quiet and just let them be the clowns that they really are. If you haven't liked this video yet, please take the time now and give it a like, as it helps with YouTube's algorithm. Anyone who'd like to show their appreciation for videos like this, or more importantly, help me to continue making them, you can donate with the super thanks icon down below, or through the PayPal Cash App links in the video's description. Let me quickly mention my blog, also called Sitdownnews, especially for those of you who still enjoy reading. The site can be found at sitdownnews.com and is a paid subscription. Here's the bottom line. If you give it some thought, the mob is a cancer, one that spreads and ruins a lot of lives in its path. However, those of us who entered it willingly have to accept the hand we're dealt, and we can't complain about it. It's too late for me, but maybe something that I say will enlighten someone, but more importantly, encourage them to change their direction and not ruin their lives. As one person told me years ago, nobody respects the mob anymore. I didn't know it at the time, but after becoming a member, I realized what that statement really meant. The reason nobody respects the mob is because its members lost the respect they once carried. For instance, the first few weeks following my induction, I remember driving and thinking that this wasn't the mafia I witnessed growing up as a kid. Most of these guys did like a bunch of gavons. I'll end with a correlating quote to everything said so far. No matter how far you traveled down the wrong path, turn around